Did you know that seniors who make proactive decisions about their retirement can end up benefiting their children's future as well? Imagine this. A 71-year-old grandmother made the bold decision to give half of her house to her daughter to ensure she has a comfortable retirement. How could such a decision reshape the future for both mother and daughter? As seniors age, they often face the challenge of ensuring that both their financial stability and family's future are secure. Retirement can be a stressful topic, but what if there were ways to reduce that stress and simultaneously improve the lives of the ones you love? In today's video, we'll explore a real-life decision made by a 71-year-old grandmother who decided to give half of her house to her daughter. After watching this video, you will learn not only how this grandmother took action, but also how her decision could serve as an example of financial planning and emotional bonding for you and your loved ones. Stay with us as we walk you through the steps and benefits of taking such a bold step for retirement. Make sure you watch this video until the end. Don't skip any points because each part contributes to understanding the long-term impact of such decisions. If you miss any of the key moments related to the topic, you might miss a chance to transform your own retirement planning. So, let's get started. Point 1. The financial benefits of giving a property to family members. When seniors choose to gift property or assets to their children, one of the main benefits is the potential reduction of inheritance taxes. This proactive approach can help both the giver and receiver avoid the heavy tax burden that often accompanies the transfer of assets after death. In the case of the 71-year-old grandmother, her decision to give half of her house to her daughter was driven by a combination of love and financial strategy. She recognized that transferring part of her property during her lifetime would minimize the financial strain on her daughter in the future, especially when it came to high inheritance taxes that could arise if she were to pass without planning ahead. This act of giving allowed the grandmother to ensure that her daughter could enjoy the stability of having a home, while also reducing the financial impact that would otherwise have fallen on her during a stressful time. Instead of her daughter having to manage the burden of high taxes or possibly even selling the property, the house was now shared, and her daughter could live more comfortably in her own retirement years. The significance of such decisions can't be overstated, especially in today's world, where managing finances in older age is increasingly complex. Just like the grandmother who made her choice carefully, individuals who plan ahead in this manner can set up a smoother transition for their loved ones, avoid complications, and provide peace of mind. For example, consider a similar story where a senior couple decided to gift their home to their daughter and her family as a way to help them save for the future. The couple had spent years in the home, and by transferring the property early, they not only avoided the costly inheritance taxes, but also enabled their daughter to move into a secure living situation, free of the financial strain that would have come with acquiring property otherwise. This simple act not only strengthened family bonds, but also laid the foundation for a more stable and secure future for the younger generation. Point 2. Strengthening family bonds through proactive decisions. When seniors make decisions about their property or finances, it's not just about the money. It's about strengthening family bonds and creating a lasting connection. In the case of the 71-year-old grandmother who gave half of her house to her daughter, her decision was rooted not just in financial planning, but in a deep sense of love and trust. By sharing a part of her home with her daughter, she communicated an unspoken message of belief in her daughter's future and a desire to help her during retirement. This act went beyond material support. It was an expression of the grandmother's desire to be there for her family, showing that she cared about her daughter's well-being and long-term stability. This kind of decision fosters a strong sense of trust between family members. The daughter, in turn, feels supported and valued, not just financially, but emotionally. When families can make such decisions without resentment or fear of judgment, it creates an environment of mutual respect and understanding. It also provides an opportunity for open discussions about family roles, responsibilities, and expectations. Take, for example, a similar situation, where an elderly father decided to gift his car to his son, knowing that his son was struggling with transportation. By making this gesture, he not only helped alleviate a practical problem, but also showed his son that he trusted him and wanted to be a part of his life. The son, moved by the gesture, felt a stronger emotional bond with his father, knowing that his father's act of kindness came from a place of love and concern. In both these cases, these gifts were not just about possessions or property, but about fostering deeper, more meaningful connections. These acts show the power of generosity in not only improving financial stability, but in building a foundation of trust, love, and respect for future generations. Point 3. How the 71-year-old grandmother secured her own retirement. When seniors make significant decisions about their assets, such as giving property to family members, they often do so with an eye on their own future security. In the case of the 71-year-old grandmother, her decision to give half of her house to her daughter was also about securing her own retirement. By transferring part of her property during her lifetime, she reduced the potential burden of inheritance taxes and secured a stable financial future for herself. This decision allowed her to minimize the financial strain that could arise later in life, ensuring that she could enjoy her golden years without the stress of large, unexpected expenses. For many seniors, managing their finances as they age can be a difficult task. Medical expenses, the cost of assisted living, and the rising cost of daily living can all add up, making financial stability crucial. By transferring assets like property early, seniors can reduce the risk of running out of money in later years. In this grandmother's case, she ensured that her daughter would be taken care of, while also preserving enough for herself to live comfortably. This proactive decision helped her avoid the fear of outliving her resources, a common concern for seniors. A similar example can be found in a couple who decided to put their house in a trust. They wanted to ensure that their children would not face estate taxes, which might force them to sell the property to cover the costs. By doing this, the couple was able to preserve their assets and ensure that their home would stay within the family. At the same time, it gave them the peace of mind to enjoy their retirement without worrying about the financial pressures that can come with aging. This thoughtful approach to retirement planning is not only about safeguarding assets, but also about providing the freedom to enjoy one's later years without the constant worry of financial uncertainty. Point 4. Legal considerations when gifting property. When making the decision to gift property or assets to family members, it's important to consider the legal and practical aspects involved. In the case of the 71-year-old grandmother who gave half of her house to her daughter, the decision wasn't just about generosity. It also required careful legal planning. Gifting property, especially real estate, requires documentation, clear understanding of ownership, and knowledge of local laws to ensure everything is done correctly. Without these precautions, such a significant transfer could lead to complications, including disputes or issues with future inheritance. For the grandmother, this decision meant consulting with a lawyer to make sure the transfer was legally sound. Legal documents such as deeds or updated wills had to be in place to reflect the change in ownership. This ensured that there would be no future confusion over who owned the property, protecting both the giver and the recipient from potential legal disputes. By working with a legal professional, the grandmother was able to ensure that her wishes would be respected and that her daughter wouldn't face challenges down the road regarding ownership. An example of a similar situation is when an elderly couple decides to transfer their house to their children to avoid inheritance taxes, but fails to consult an attorney. This might result in an improperly documented transaction that later causes confusion about property ownership. For instance, if the couple didn't properly update their will or legally transfer the title of the property, one of the children might face challenges from other family members who contest the transfer. This could lead to a long, costly legal battle that defeats the purpose of the original decision to avoid taxes and make things easier. Thus, when seniors decide to pass on property, it's essential to consult with legal professionals to ensure that everything is done correctly, protecting both the giver and the recipient from any future complications. Point 5. The emotional reward of leaving a legacy. When seniors make the decision to gift property to their children or loved ones, it's not just about financial stability, it's also about creating a lasting emotional legacy. In the case of the 71-year-old grandmother who gave half of her house to her daughter, this decision went beyond material wealth. It was an act of love and care. By giving her daughter part of her property, the grandmother ensured that her daughter would not only have a comfortable living situation, but also feel secure about the future. This gesture allowed the daughter to focus on her own retirement without the worry of potentially losing the home or facing financial strain later on. This act of kindness and foresight also created an emotional bond that went beyond the transaction of property. The grandmother's gift symbolized her belief in her daughter's future and her desire to provide stability. For many seniors, giving such a gift can be an emotional experience that strengthens family connections. It serves as a way to express gratitude, care, and an enduring love for the next generation. This connection, built on trust and shared goals, helps create a sense of peace and contentment in both the giver and the receiver. Example, consider a family where an elderly father decided to pass down a family heirloom, a precious piece of jewelry, to his daughter. This was not just about giving away an object. It was a way for him to leave a part of himself behind, something that his daughter could cherish and remember him by. This legacy became more than a material possession. It became a tangible reminder of the love, memories, and values passed down through generations. Similarly, the grandmother's decision to give half of her house was more than just about property. It was a message of love and an enduring legacy, ensuring that her daughter would have the support and security needed in her later years. Point 6. How to approach gifting decisions in your own family. When seniors make significant decisions like transferring property to family members, it's essential to think about the broader implications and the practical steps involved in the process. The 71-year-old grandmother's decision to gift half of her house to her daughter was a thoughtful move to ensure her family's future while reducing her financial burdens in retirement. However, such decisions also come with potential risks and need careful consideration. One of the key concerns in transferring property is the possibility of creating future complications, especially when it comes to family dynamics. In this case, the grandmother was aware that transferring part of her property to her daughter would need to be done in a way that minimized future conflicts. She made sure the decision was transparent, ensuring her daughter knew exactly what was happening and why. This transparency helped to prevent misunderstandings, as sometimes property transfers can cause family tensions, particularly if other family members feel excluded or if the distribution appears unfair. Being upfront about her decision and discussing the reasons behind it helped to set the tone for healthy communication and trust within the family. For example, in another situation, an elderly mother decided to give her house to her son to help him secure his future. However, she didn't communicate this clearly to her daughter, who later felt upset and left out. This lack of communication created tension and eventually led to a long-standing family dispute over inheritance. Had the mother taken the time to openly discuss her reasoning and intentions with both children, the situation might have been avoided. Thus, when making significant decisions about property or assets, it's crucial for seniors to think about the long-term effects, not only on their financial well-being, but on their family relationships as well. Open dialogue and clear communication can help ensure that the gift is received as an act of love and support, rather than something that creates friction or misunderstandings later. Point 7. Planning for the future with family in mind. As we age, one of the most important things we can do is ensure that we are not only looking after our own future, but also helping to secure the future of our loved ones. In the case of the 71-year-old grandmother, her decision to give half of her house to her daughter wasn't just about helping her daughter financially in the present, but also about creating a secure foundation for the future. By transferring part of her property, the grandmother was ensuring that her daughter would have a stable living situation as she moved into her own retirement years, free from the worry of managing large debts or financial instability. However, this decision wasn't made without careful thought. It required foresight and a clear understanding of what was needed to maintain a balance between family obligations and personal goals. The grandmother recognized that securing the family's future wasn't just about one decision. It was about cultivating a lasting environment of security and love. This kind of proactive planning can also teach future generations the importance of financial responsibility and family support, passing down valuable lessons of how to plan for the future and ensure that everyone can benefit. For example, a similar situation occurred with a family who, as the parents grew older, decided to create a living trust. They wanted to ensure that their children would not have to deal with the hassle of probates, and they also wanted to guarantee their home stayed in the family. By working with financial advisors and creating clear documentation, they not only protected their assets, but also demonstrated the importance of planning ahead. This proactive approach helped their children avoid inheritance conflicts, ensuring that the parents' wishes were fulfilled and the family's legacy was preserved. Ultimately, the grandmother's decision, like the family with the living trust, reflected the importance of making deliberate choices that not only benefit you in the present, but also lay the foundation for a secure, supportive future for those you care about. To wrap up, this grandmother's decision to gift half of her house to her daughter highlights the importance of thoughtful financial planning, strong family bonds, and leaving a meaningful legacy. Taking the time to make proactive decisions for both your retirement and your family's future can not only provide financial benefits but also emotional fulfillment. Start planning today for a future of peace and security for both you and your loved ones. Don't wait until it's too late. Take the first step towards a fulfilling retirement today.